with the healthcare debate, and they were like, "Yeah, we had 20 points in the polls. We can flip that." So there is that argument, but you know what? Do you want to win another election? Is there even going to be another election? I mean, that was my original thing about Trump when everyone was saying I was crazy. He doesn't said he's never going to concede an election. I just feel like that we probably have already crossed the Rubicon on this. I just don't see this crowd ever really giving up power because they really believe in their bones. And again, I could go through a lot of things that make me understand why they think that way, although I'm not with them, of course, on it. But they think that the left is so crazy and so dangerous, and some of their ideas are so aggressively anti-common sense, and they are. They think that it is their duty to preserve power, to just not ever let those people near the levers of power because it's just too crazy.
Yeah, it's so dangerous.
That's
But that's what they say they believe. But come on, Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Hakeem Jeffries and Kamala Harris, these are mainstream figures that are not dangerous at all. They have they either are lying to themselves or persuading themselves to believe that Democrats pose a threat because it is part of the project of denying the legitimacy of democratic politics.
Well, we could argue about a lot of issues there, but I'm sorry. Joe Biden, I think, never stood up to the far, far fringe of his party. From day one, he was just like too feeble, too old. These people are too mean, too powerful. I don't want to even have the fight.
What was something he did? But like, I'm not. What's something he did
like we are an outlier in the trans.
So let's talk about that.
With other countries. I mean, the UK, the Nordic countries, all pulled back on that as far as like puberty blockers and operations for kids under 18, letting children self-diagnose, keeping it from parents. All this stuff has gone on and still goes on in America. If it's something like that and you're a parent, which I am not, and I'm glad I'm not, that issue is a lot closer to home to you than Ukraine.
So let's talk about
I didn't even know where it was 5 years ago, and now I care more about that than this issue.
We're going to talk about the transition. But let's talk about it. But before we do, are there other? That's the one people come to. Is there another example in your mind of Joe Biden that somehow was super woke,
DEI, race? I mean, they put that in every department immediately, like day one. That was the most important thing. And now you see a lot of corporations pulling back from it. I mean, like everything does go too far. I mean, a university having 200 DEI officers, a university which is already one of the most liberal places in the world, it's one of those jobs where you'd have to admit there was progress, or else the answer is, well, maybe I shouldn't have this job anymore. And whoever does that.
So let's talk about. I got to my card that says trans. Let's talk about it. The position, like other countries have national health services. The Democratic position is leave it up to parents, doctors. Just leave. It's not the government's decision. That's the Democratic position. What's wrong with that position?
Wait, say that again?
The Democratic position, right? Joe Biden.
The Democratic position in this state has been that the school has the right to hide it from the parents. That is something that is not going to go well with the average voter. And again, I'm not even a parent, and I get it. Okay? I think the governor here used the word snitch. Now, if I'm wrong, I didn't say it.
So
I think I read that.
So there are delicate problems here. But wait, there's delicate problems here, and there's a delicate problem where you have a kid, all right, who is either non-binary or trans, who feels scared at home, feels unsafe at home. Those things do happen in the world. There are things that happen in the world. But for the most part, that's not what we're talking about. For the most part, what we're talking about is a teenager who has felt that they have a gender dysmorphia. So what they feel like is that they feel deeply unhappy, depression, all really rampant.
Yes,
and they go to their parents.
They feel that, and then they blame it on the thing that has been put in their mind way too much, that it may be because of you're in the wrong body, to put it probably wrongly, but sure, that we understand what that means. Okay. Now, it could be that case. When Trump said there's only two sexes, again, pendulum swinging way too far to stupidity. Okay. Obviously, sex is more complicated than just two sexes.
Mhm.
There are people who absolutely, are quote unquote in the wrong body. But when you're a kid, when even a teenager, and you're that confused about everything and you have no idea and you're upset for many other reasons, the idea that they put it, let me just finish.
I'm not saying
I
it.
know. I can see you are ready. I can see you pulling back the bow. Uh, the fact that they put this in their head too much. That's my thing. Should you tell a kid, look, there's a default setting for humans,
Mhm.
male and female, but there are variations. That's absolutely true. Some people are attracted to people of their own sex, and some people are actually in the quote unquote wrong body. And that does happen. But the amount that they emphasize this. I compared it once on my show to entrapment.
So
See, there you go.
I disagree. I'm sorry. Is that not the end? Is it?
No,
I
but
thought entrapment had a period at
Can
the
I
end.
explain it?
Yes, explain. I mean, I think we all get it, but yeah, explain it. Entrapment.
I don't think everybody does get it.
Okay, explain it.
Okay. Well, what is entrapment? Entrapment is when you suggest something to people
Mhm.
that they weren't ordinarily going to do. I used the example of after 9/11. The FBI got caught basically entrapping some people, which is what they went to people
Yeah,
who
I
were,
think.
excuse me, I'm not done.
Right. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. Honestly,
And
that
you're
was rude.
and you're
That was rude. That was rude.
you
Bill,
gotta-
finish. You're explaining how
gotta read
being trans is like being recruited into Al Qaeda.
Working with open source software is like exploring a new galaxy filled with opportunities. For you,
well, that's glib
Absolutely.
and
100% glib.
stupid.
Stupid and glib.
It is
Yes.
because it's not true. And
Right.
you didn't even let me get through the
You're
thing,
right.
and now I got to go.
You're just going to leave? We're in the middle of a debate.
Yeah. No. Okay. I'll finish this. Entrapment. Like, okay, so they go to somebody, a group of guys. They did this in a group of four black guys in Miami, and were unhappy with America. And hey, wouldn't it be great if we blew up the Sears Tower in Chicago? And these guys didn't even have a gun. And it's like, yeah, I hate America, or I got problems with America. And it does sound kind of cool. And hey, well, we can get you the explosives. And that's entrapment. Okay.
Mhm.
You put an idea in people's heads that wouldn't have been there otherwise. Do I think in most of America they did that in schools? I don't. But I think in enough of them, in enough far left places, they did constantly have this idea in in the minds of children
Mhm.
that maybe you're not in the right body. I mean, the New England Journal of Medicine advocated for taking sex off of a birth certificate. I believe it was like it's you're assigned sex as
Assigned sex at birth.
assigned.
Yeah.
You're assigned.
I think that's
Well, I
right.
was assigned it by my dick. Okay, when I
Well-
was born. Yes, and again, to tell kids it doesn't always have to be and isn't always the default setting, but that's a different mentality than they put in the minds of kids.
Mhm.
And that's why this debate goes on. And the fact that you think, or a lot of people on the left think that even if you just have this debate, it makes you a bigot, you just have to roll over. That was, you asked about the Biden administration. That was their position. If you even question this, you're some sort of a bigot. And this is new science, and it has to do with children. And it's not going to look good in the future, that position.
Can I just respond to something?
Now you can.
Now I can respond. All right. Can you just all right. Let's just
I said
there's
my
a-
piece.
you definitely said your
Just
piece.
say your bullshit while I'm in.
Just stay for 1 second.
Okay, I'm
Unbelievable.
I'm kidding.
I know. Okay. A lot of things there. First of all, oof. Uh, I, this is going to sound confrontational. For a long time, people said, oh, older gay people are recruiting kids to be gay. And they wouldn't really be gay. It was they were being recruited, they were being groomed, that they were being drawn. That was their conservative position. The Christian right position for a long time was the reason you didn't want to have gay teachers is they're going to recruit. That the gay lifestyle is going to look so enticing and so exciting that it's going to bring these poor defenseless boys, they mostly boys, into the gay lifestyle and destroy their lives. But of course, that wasn't true. Really, all gay teachers were an example,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Look, there are a few examples of people getting older and realizing that they shouldn't have transitioned. That happened. That's real. That's real.
Yeah,
Um,
more than a few.
But there are also really important surgeries that people get for their heart and they go wrong and somebody dies. And nobody says we must stop the cardiologists. No one says we must stop the surgeons. We say, let's.
What's your analogy?
Well, my analogy is only that. Wait, let me finish. But
I'm just
gonna finish.
Yes.
Is it my turn to talk?
No, you're right.
They're also and what you say is let's make sure that this version of it is being practiced well. We don't get rid of the specific surgery. We don't throw out a whole field of medicine. We say let's make sure we're doing it in a way that's healthy. The science, the research, all right, makes clear that yes, there are exceptions. Yes, there are people practicing it in ways that maybe go too far, but for the most part, study after study shows that gender affirming care saves. Wait, I'm talking. It's my turn. I was so quiet for so long after I interrupted a few times. But once I stopped talking, boy, I was good at it. And that gender affirming care saves a lot of lives. And the truth is, we talk about these edge cases, talk about athletes, talk about lockers, but for the most part, what we're talking about is a very small group of people that just want the opportunity to live and express themselves. And there is a war on that group of people from the right to make salient extreme cases, edge cases, not for the purposes of stopping those, but for doing what the Trump administration is doing entirely, which is stopping all gender affirming care altogether and making trans people fucking nervous when they have to pee at the airport, right? Which is the end result of all this.
Of course, that's awful, and I agree with all that, except the part about the studies. There was a very big story this year. It was in the front page of the New York Times.
Mhm.
A woman, I forget her name, and she had done like it was a 10-year study, did not release it on purpose because she said it would weaponize the argument from the other side. So, in other words, it came out not the way you wanted the study to come out.
Yeah.
Not what you said, that it's, all the studies show that. No, it is a mixed bag. That's true.
Okay.
Some people, yes, it's the right thing. But to take that risk at that age before you know shit about anything, yes, sometimes it's pretty obvious that this should it's a very hard call to make. And again, this was a very long study, very thorough, and they wouldn't release it because it came out with the wrong
The
conclusion.
reason because it is a hard question.
Happy Valentine's Week, Jackie.
Happy Valentine's.
Right.
It is a serious question.
Right.
It is a personal question. I don't want Donald Trump deciding. I want parents and
Well,
doctors.
you just said parents can get shut out.
Well, I don't think parents should get shut out. There are rare exceptions to that. Look, we all believe that parents should have the decisions over their children, but we also recognize that some parents do such a bad fucking job that the kids are in danger. That happens outside of trans issues. That happens all the time. It's terrible. Some parents are fucking terrible. Somehow the fact that there are terrible parents in the world gets erased on these questions. Do I think that schools should, but as a baseline, be keeping a secret from parents? Of fucking course not. No one thinks that. No one thinks that.
Apparently, that's not true. People do think that. And there is no perfect answer to this. It's as many naughty questions, the least bad answer.
And the least bad answer is to let the government decide from above. It's just to leave it up to people and parents and the kids and the doctors, right? You want the government to ban gender affirming care for kids?
You want to lose every election. Just keep coming down on the side of parents coming in second in a who gets to decide what goes on with my kid contest.
First of all, I'm not talking about winning or losing election. I agree with all that, but I'm just talking about the issue itself. What did that card say?
Can I take this one home as
Sure.
as a souvenir? I'm going to put it in my scrapbook.
Let me see if I hit all my points that I want to make about this.
They don't even see. Couldn't they have started? It says, my guest this week is Toughing House Political Content Senator Bill Maher. Bill, couldn't they have started this on the next card? Do you think that word Bill should have been started on the next card?
No,
I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble.
Let's. You guys go. That's good. That's it. You're just leaving.
Yeah, just leaving.
Bill Maher, everybody.
Thank you.
This is what I do. This is what I do when I'm not shooting. I retouch and I listen to the politics. This one I'm still fooling around with a little bit. I want to see what we can do.
Hey guys, it's me, Sam Stein here on Saturday night. I don't know why I do this to myself, but I couldn't pull myself away from the YouTube because some crazy shit's happening as usual on the weekend. Before we get into it, subscribe to the feed as always. So basically, what's happened tonight is that Elon Musk has taken it up a notch. I didn't think it was possible, but Elon Musk has announced, and actually this occurred at 2:45 this afternoon, he announced that he was going to be sending all federal employees an email. In that email, he was going to be asking them to list what they have done work over the last week. Which okay, but then it contained this line: "Failure to respond will be taken as a resignation," which is a lot. Like that seems extraordinary. And in fact, already we're seeing legal scholars question whether that's actually allowable. There are certain laws dictating how federal employees can resign or be fired, and it seems like this might be.
Hey guys, um, I am going to call this one. I don't want to call it done, but I think it's in a good place where we can sort of present it. This one's not really. This one's not really my favorite, but as I worked on it, I'm falling in love with it more and more. This is actually my agent's pick. What is that on this on your cheek here? We gotta figure that out. We gotta clean that up. Oh, it's underneath. Um, Let me know what you think. Um, just fooling around here at the studio, waiting for clients to call and getting this stuff ready to present. Oh, it's on the upper layer, isn't it? Yeah, it's here. When things are this sort of what's the word, grainy, then this becomes a little difficult. Uh but it does help if you have like bigger pieces. Anyway, I'm gonna do that later because I want to move on to something else. And sometimes it's good to kind of come back with a fresh pair of eyes. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you in a little bit.